So the distance traveled in a unit time is speed, whereas displacement in a unit time is known as velocity. Example, if I say an object at point A an object is at point A, move towards right, and it was moving with a speed of 30 meters per second. So first the object moved towards right and the speed of the object was 30 meters per second. Then the object take a U-turn and return back, not to the same starting point, but it returned back with the same speed of 30 meters per second. Now in this question, the main question is there a change in speed? Now the first question, is there a change in speed? Does the speed changes for this object? Yes or no?
No.
So the speed of this object does not change, so there is no change in speed. Is there a change in velocity? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, there is a change in velocity. Why? Because velocity is a vector quantity. So moving towards right, if I say you have this compass, north is up, south is down, east is towards right, and west is towards left. So moving towards right, if I say positive, moving towards left will be negative. If the direction of a vector quantity opposite to the original one, it will take one as positive, another one is negative. And we can also, and what is the change in velocity? If there is a change in velocity, what is the change in velocity? So how you can, the difference in the velocity you can calculate, which is equals to change in velocity. So one of the velocity is minus 30, another one is 30. So what it will be 30 minus, this is minus for the change, the difference, and the second velocity is minus 30. So what is the change in velocity? It will be minus minus, it will be plus 30. So change in velocity is equals to 60 meter per second. Yes, Abdul Rahman?
Sir, I didn't understand that change in the velocity.
Yeah, the term change means the difference. I want to take a difference in the two velocities. Okay. So how we take a difference? We take difference by subtracting the two values. Like one value subtracted with the other, we get the difference. So what is one value of first value of velocity? It's 30. That's why I put 30. Is it clear? This negative is for difference. Because whenever you calculate change in something, you minus or subtract. So this negative is for calculating a change. And the second velocity was minus 30. So the second velocity is minus 30. So this is 30, minus multiplied by minus is plus. It will be 30. So 30 plus 30 makes it 60 meter per second. So the change in the velocity is 60 meter per second here. Is it clear? Because
Yes,
the term change means the difference. So to calculate a difference, you subtract. Velocity is a vector quantity. If one of the velocity is positive, another one should be negative. Same thing, I will give another example. Look, if an object was moving with a speed of 30 meter per second. Take a U-turn and move with the speed of 20 meter per second. Now in this question, is there a change in speed?
Yes.
Is there? Yeah, there is a change in speed. And is there a change in velocity?
Yes.
There is a change in velocity as well, because the magnitude and direction both changes. So both cases it is yes, there is a change in speed, yes, there is a change in velocity. How to calculate a change in the speed? Change means the difference. So what is the change in speed in this example? So the change in the speed, one of the values 30, another one is 20. So I will simply 30 minus 20, which is equals to 10 meter per second. But what about the change in the velocity? The change in the velocity, if one of the velocities, if one direction, because the direction is changing as well. So one you take as positive, the other one you should take as negative. Why you should take as negative? Because the direction.
Left.
So in this case, this will be 30 minus and equal to minus 20. So 30 minus minus, it will be plus 20, and 30 plus 20 is equals to 50 meter per second. Velocity is the change in displacement. Speed is a change in distance. Velocity, if the direction change, the velocity changes.
Sir,
Yes.
so what direction is it? 50 meter per second, right or left?
Yeah, now 50 meter per second, how you'll identify whether right or left, you have to check. Look, the right hand direction you consider as positive, and the left hand direction you consider as negative. So what is the resultant direction it is giving? Your final answer is positive. If your final answer is positive, it means it is towards right. If your final answer is negative, the resultant direction is towards left. Is it clear? Then the speed or velocity can be number one, 0, or object at rest. So example, if there is an object and this object is not moving, so if this object is not moving, what is the speed of this object?
0.
0, because it's not moving, so 0. If I sketch a graph for time on y-axis, time on x-axis, sorry, and speed or velocity on y-axis. I have time here on x-axis and speed or velocity on y-axis. So what happened? This object, its speed is 0 or object is at rest. So what kind of graph, or what will be the shape of the graph? it will be a straight horizontal line on the origin. Is it clear? This object, because the speed is 0, when the object speed is 0, it means the value of the speed is 0. So speed time graph or velocity time graph, it will be a horizontal line. Same thing, if I make a distance time graph to explain this motion, on x-axis I have time, on y-axis I have distance. So if it's a distance time graph, what will be the shape of this graph? It will also be on the origin, because the object does not cover any distance. So both the distance time graph and speed time graph will be at 0 when the object is not moving or object is stationary. Is it clear? So when a stationary object is there, or object velocity is 0 or speed is 0, the distance time graph and displacement time graph both will be horizontal. Take the screenshot, then I'll explain the second part. The second type of a graph, the object may have a constant or uniform speed or velocity. Constant or uniform speed means the speed does not change throughout the motion. We call that as a uniform speed. So example, you have an object and it's moving object, it moves from first one position to another. This is A, B, C, and D. Here the object covers 5 meters. Five meters. It took 2 seconds. Here also it took 2 seconds. Here also it took 2 seconds. What is the speed from A to B? What's the value of speed from A to B?
2.5.
2.5. What is the speed from B to C? Here the speeds are 2.5 meter per second from A to B. From B to C, what is the speed? Distance divided by time. Again, you will get 2.5 meter per second. From C to D, 5 divided by 2, again you will get 2.5 meter per second. So you can see here that the speed of this object is not changing, or speed of this object remain constant. So if we sketch a distance and time graph for this object, on y-axis there's a distance, on x-axis we have a time. So as you can see, the distance is increasing because the object is moving away. So distance time graph, what we will have a straight line. So for object, if the speed is not changing or speed is constant, the distance time graph will be a straight line with a constant slope. But for the same object, when I make a speed time graph or velocity time graph, so you can see here, the speed is not changing with respect to time. So if speed is not changing with respect to time, what we will have a horizontal line. Is it clear? So for this object, the speed was not changing, so speed is constant. Whenever we sketch a graph for distance and time, the distance is increasing with a constant rate. So distance time graph, it will be a straight line.
Sir,
Yes.
why the distance is decreasing? It's the same every time, 5 meters, 5 meters.
This because this is a distance from starting point. Like example, this is a starting point and this is an end point. So from starting point, after 2 seconds, it was 5. Okay. Then after further 2 seconds, means at 4 seconds, it will be at 10. Then after further 2 seconds, means 6 seconds, it will be at 15. So when you join these points, what you will get? You will get a straight line. Is it clear? Because the distance from the starting point is increasing. Every interval from A to B, it covers same distance. From B to C, it covers same distance. And from C to D, it covered same distance. But when we compare the distance traveled from start to the end, so distance is increasing. First it was 5 meter, because here the distance was 5 meter. Here the total distance is 10 meter. And at the last, the total distance is 15 meters. So 5 meters from beginning, 10 meters from beginning, and 15 meters from beginning. So you can see here the distance is increasing, but the speed is constant. Speed does not change because it is covering equal distance in every time interval. Is it clear? This graphs. Any doubt in this? Look, velocity and speed having a same meaning. The only difference, when object moving in a straight line, like if I say the velocity of object moving in a straight line is 2.5 meter per second in the direction of east, an object is moving straight in a straight line. So I can also say the speed of the object is equals to 2.5 meter per second. Why? Because when object move in a straight line, the distance, displacement having a same meaning, and velocity and speed are having the same meaning. Take the screenshot, then I'll give another example. This is when the speed is constant. The third, when the speed or velocity increases, so in this example, if I say an object cover 2 meters, 5 meters, and 7 meters. It was in 2 seconds here, 2 seconds, 2 seconds. What is the speed from A to B? Moving from A to B, what is the speed of this object? Cover 2, yeah, so it is 1 meter per second. What is the speed from B to C?
2.5.
And from C to D, it's also a 2-second interval,
3.5.
3.5 meter per second. So in this example, you can see the speed is increasing. So if I sketch a graph for distance and time, the example time is equals to 2 seconds, then 4 seconds, and then 6 seconds, and distance say 1, 2, 3, on y-axis we have distance, on x-axis we have time. So in 2 seconds it covered 2 meters. So there will be 2 seconds and 2 meters. Then further 2 seconds, 5 meters. So means at 4 seconds. So what is the total distance travel? Like it's, I will take as just a minute. The total I want. So if it make it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So in first 2 seconds, it covered 2 meters. So first 2 seconds, it covered 2 meters. The next 2 seconds, it covered total distance. Means at 4 seconds, the total at this point, the total distance was 2. At this point, the total distance is 7. Why 7? Because this is 5 and already it covered 2. So total distance is equals to 7. And at this point, the total distance is equals to 14. So 2, then 7 this meter, and then till the last 14. So at 2 seconds, it covered 2 meters. Till 4 seconds, it covered 7 meters. So where the 7 will come, it will come between 6 and 8. And at 6 seconds, it has covered 14 meters. So when I mark for 14, somewhat like, so what we'll have if I join these points, so if we join these points to show the shape, so you can see its slope will increase. It will curve up. Is it clear? The distance time graph for an object for which speed is increasing. And same thing if we make a velocity time graph. or speed time graph. So 2 seconds, 4 seconds, and 8 seconds. First it cover, like this is 1, 2, 3, then 4. After 2 seconds, its speed was 1 meter per second. After 4 seconds, because the total time its speed was 2.5, and after 6 seconds, speed was 3.5. The distance time graph, you can see here, first it covered 2 meter, then it covered 7 meters, and then it covered 14 meter. So after 2 seconds, what was the distance? 2. After 4 seconds, what is the distance? 6. 7. And after 6 seconds, what is the distance? 14. So when I join these points, I will get the shape of the graph. Same thing, after 6 seconds, the speed was 3.5. So when I draw this line, so it will also be a similar in which the slope is increasing. Is it clear? So both the speed time graph and the distance time graph, the slope will increase, shows that they are increasing in the value. And the last type of a graph, take the screenshot. For this type of motion, if the speed is decreasing, speed or velocity decreases for an object, so object is at point A, then it moves to B, then move B to C, and then C to D. Here it covered, say, 5 meters. Here it covered 4 meters, and here it covered 2 meters. And the time intervals 2 seconds to move from A to B, further 2 seconds to move from B to C, and further 2 seconds to move from C to D. If I find the speed of this object, so moving from A to B, 5 divided by 2, which is equals to 2.5 meter per second. That's the speed. Moving from B to C, 4 divided by 2, which is equals to 2 meter per second. Moving from C to D, it will be 1 meter per second. But what about the distance? So moving from A to B, these are the speeds. But when I say the distance, so first it moved from A to B, then it moved from, like, total distance from A to C, and then to total distance from A to D. So this total distance from A to B is equals to 5 meters, from A to C is equals to 9 meters, and from A to D is equals to 11 meters. So if I sketch a graph, distance and time graph, so distance time graph for an object which speed is decreasing. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then example, because it's a distance of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and so on. So first, in 2 seconds, it covered 5 meters. So in 2 seconds, it covered 5 meters. So point will be here. Then remaining, like in 4 seconds, it is at a distance of 9 meters. So 4 seconds, it is at a distance of 9 meters. Then 6 seconds, it is at a distance of 11 meters. So when I join these points, what I will get? I will find that the slope will decrease. This is a distance time graph for an object which the speed is decreasing. So you can have a graph for an object like if I summarize this, when object is at rest, the distance time graph so distance time graph for an object at rest. So time is there on x-axis and distance is there. So if an object is at rest, it will be horizontal line. For a distance time graph, when object is moving with a constant speed, so if an object is moving with a constant speed, what we will have a straight line graph. If speed is increasing, so for an object with the speed increases, the distance in the time graph if the speed of object increase, so we'll have this shape graph. And the last one, if the speed decreases, so the shape of the graph, it will be like this. So these are the 4 graphs for a motion or explaining the motion distance time graph which explain the motion of an object. And you can see here, you can check here, what is the slope of this object? What about slope of this line? The first one. If it's a horizontal line, what is the slope of a horizontal line? Whenever a horizontal line graph is there, the slope, the angle with x-axis 0. So here the slope is 0. Here the slope is constant. At this point, the slope increasing. And this point, the slope is decreasing. So basically, what it shows that the distance time graph, the slope and the speed having a same meaning. So what is this? The slope means that's the same thing as speed. So you can see here in the first example, the slope was 0. If the slope is 0, it means the speed is also 0. In the second example, slope is constant. If slope is constant, it means the speed is constant. If slope is increasing, it means the speed is increasing. And if a slope is decreasing, the speed is also decreasing. So the distance time graph, the slope actually represents the speed of the moving object. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any doubt in this? Take the screenshot, then I'll move on. Then average speed. Average speed, like example, the formula to calculate average speed is equals to total distance divided by total time to complete the journey. Example, you're in Bureda and you travel to Riyadh. So you're in Bureda and you travel to Riyadh. Example, so this is a distance between them. At this point, your speed was 130 kilometer per hour. Another point, you stops. So if you stop, your speed will be 0 kilometer per hour. Then another point, your speed was 150 kilometer per hour. So if someone will ask, what was your speed during the journey? You will not tell that first I was traveling with 130 kilometer per hour, then I stopped, my speed was 0, and then I reached the speed of 150 kilometer per hour. What you will tell an average speed. Like how you will tell him an average speed? Example, if the distance between the Bureda and the Riyadh, example, if it is 300 kilometers, and your journey took 3 hours, you took 3 hours to complete your journey. So if someone will ask, what was your speed? So you will not say that first I traveled with 130, then I was stopped for some time, and then I traveled with 150. What you will tell, you will give him an average answer. You will say, I traveled with, like because you covered 300 kilometers in 3 hours. So it means average, you travel 100 kilometer per hour. So your average speed was 100 kilometer per hour. So basically average speed is the total distance divided by total time. So giving an average of the answer, so the total distance divided by total time will simply give you an average speed. So your average speed might be different from your actual speed, because actually some places you might travel more than 130 kilometer per hour. Some places you reduce your speed. Some places you are traveling with 150. Your actual speed is not exactly like you travel the whole journey with a speed of 100 kilometer per hour. Your actual speed will be different from the average speed. But what is the average speed is the total distance divided by total time for object to complete the journey. Remaining, I will explain and give more examples. Yeah, the session will end. I will share the recording. Any doubt related to today's class? I will complete explanation of